those of you who got an invite, welcome to Nerd Prom.
No matter where in the world you are, we're all Nerds International. With the hyphen.
Alright, YouTube, it is Mr. Mean coming at you from kind of gloomy fall, Minnesota, Duluth. It's nice weather. I'm still in shorts and a t-shirt because I'm crazy and I got all the windows open because we like it nice and cool. It's about 60 degrees here right now. Fall is rapidly here and the leaves are all turning and it's beautiful weather outside. Today's video du jour is a treat and a long time in coming. But a couple of housekeeping things first. Remember to like and subscribe. Tell your friends. Pass the video along. It really helps me out. Get those numbers up. We're almost at 400 subscribers, which is awesome. I think I'm at 398. So tell your friends. Help me push over that 400 mark. Also, you can subscribe via Patreon, and you get these videos 7 days earlier, so you get to see my smiling face. And if you subscribe at the $15 pledge, you get freebies. When I do interviews with the game designers and stuff, they give me PDF copies of the books. In some cases, may even be a physical copy. It all depends on what the publisher or the creator can do. This month, one of my subscribers, my Patreon, got a free copy of Ghost Ops. Unfortunately, the video footage got lost. For some reason, it didn't render on my computer and didn't record. So I had like a nice 2-hour conversation with Mr. James Gantry from Feral Games Inc. And we lost all the footage. But that doesn't change the fact that James sent me a free copy. And as soon as that Patreon subscriber gets back to me, he will get a code in his email that he will be able to go download a free copy of Ghost Ops and all that. And it's just been updated too with some cool new stuff, and they added some more stuff. So if you haven't checked out Feral Games Inc., go check them out. If you haven't checked out Ghost Ops or League of Seekers or Wraith World, which is soon to be coming, he's got a new one called, I think it's Black Iron, which looks amazing. So definitely check him out. He's a publisher on the rise, and really dig his products. So obviously, subscribe to Patreon. You can do it for as little as $5 a month. You get my videos 7 days before everybody else does, and then after that they go up on YouTube. So either way, like and subscribe. Patreon really helps me out. You guys know I'm unemployed, so this is just a little way to help me bring in some revenue. So I appreciate it. Helps keep the channel going. So anyway, thank you to all my Patreon subscribers. You guys are awesome. But let's get to it. Let's see. I did an interview with the gentlemen's over at I.N.D.E, which I.N.D.E stands for I.N.D.E. It's Never Dark Enough. And they had a Kickstarter about might have been almost 3 years ago. I think it's 2 years. They did a Kickstarter for an RPG called Shattered. And you guys have probably heard me rave about the art in there. And I had the guys on the channel. If you haven't seen that video, go back in the archive and look at it. It's a video chat with the guys from I.N.D.E. But today, my Kickstarter pledge arrived. I have not opened this. The tape is still sealed. So I just went and picked it up from my mailbox. It got here yesterday. Remember, kids, knife safety. Always cut away from yourself and put your knife or utensil away when you're done using it. So let's pop this bad boy open and let's see what all's in here. I unfortunately could not back at the superstar level, and I just realized that my microphone is nowhere near me, so I hope you guys were able to hear all of that. Let me pull the mic here. Hopefully that's better. It's packaged really well. Oh yeah, oh that's a tome. Look at that. So in a nice bag. Oh my God, there's nothing else in there. This is Shattered. Nice glossy cover. Very, very cool art. This is going to retail for $60. My friends, if you don't know about this game, please, Mr. Mean endorses this. This game has had my attention for the last, at least 2 years from Kickstarter. on. The art is fantastic. They're working with some phenomenal artists. I already have the PDF and I have looked at it. I have not read it thoroughly, just because I'm not a PDF reader. Oh man, look at that! They signed it. All the guys signed it on the inside. Sweet. Alpha, N.K, Tex, and I can't read half of your guys' scribble scratch, but that is awesome. Thank you guys. They didn't have to do that, but they did. It was a little mix up and they had some problems, but I had backed at the level where I got to create a monster. And unfortunately that didn't get to happen. So maybe we'll get to do that in one of the supplements, because I had a cool idea for this critter that comes during in the shadows and it can only attack from the shadows and stuff like that. So like, it attacks when you sleep and it feeds off your life essence, almost like a vampire. But anyway, it's neither here nor there. I'm super... I can't even tell you guys how happy I am to see this. Delve into a world of perilous exploits and horror. This game, I think, has a little bit of something for everybody. You may not be into the apocalyptic or, the weird fantasy or sci fantasy. This kind of, in my boat, falls into the sci fantasy realm. They've gone through several revisions of the character sheet, and I gotta say, I like the one in the rule book. It's not uber aggressive and it's not uber plain, but it is very simplistic, and I like that. I don't want too much of a crazy character sheet. There's the character sheet. So the other one was an NPC, so you guys can pause that and take a look at it. You can pause it and take a look at it. Sorry, I covered up the mic. So we are looking at 275 pages, not including the 6 pages for character sheets and NPC sheets. Fully indexed table of contents, a lexicon with what they're calling it, chapter 9, and I mean everything is in here. The art is just fan-frickin-tastic. I really dig the fact that it's signed. That's kind of just I don't know, this is a fanboy in me. I've been a fan of these guys' work since I ran across it on Kickstarter, and like I said, I did an interview with them. It was probably a good 2-hour, hour and a half interview. And we talked about Kickstarters, because one of the things I like to do on my channel is talk about the behind-the-scenes stuff. I've seen a lot of YouTube channels where guys are making videos about, their RPGs and their fun stuff, but nobody goes into the blood, sweat, and tears of what it takes to create a game. We as consumers, we just walk in the shelf, we see it, we pick it up, and we don't think about it. We don't care. We paid our money for it. We want our book. Kickstarter is a good thing and a bad thing. There's a lot of companies out there that are doing it right. I.N.D.E's one of them. For those that don't know, and you can go look at the Kickstarter, because that stuff stays up there, you can see the problems they had. They got screwed by their publisher out of China and sent them, the books that they sent were unusable. The ink was bleeding, pages were falling out, blurry pages. It was just a big hot mess of garbage. I think Tex or N.K. or one of the guys wound up getting a personal loan for like 10 grand or whatever it was, and they managed to find a publisher in China that had a U.S. representative, so that they had a legal recourse if things didn't work out, and they were able to get the book published, and of course the slow boat from China, but they were able to get it printed in China by a more reputable printer and have it sent over here. So they got it to us as fast as they could. I even got a message from N.K. on my Discord channel saying, hey, your book just shipped. And I'm sure they did that for a lot of people that were staying in touch. I made a conscientious choice to stay in touch with them. I chat with them quite regularly. They're on my Discord. I'm on their Discord. So if you want to know more about this game, go to their website. I'm going to put a link in the doobly-doo down below. But pick this book up, man. If you're not into this type of RPG, you're more of a D&D guy, or you're more of a Rifts guy or whatever, and this doesn't appeal to you, if nothing else, it is $60 well spent for a beautiful coffee table book with just some amazing art. My camera, it's an HD camera, but it doesn't do that justice, and I know there's a glare, but look at that. That is, the art, that's just, in this book, you guys have heard me rant many, many times about consistency in art. That is just beautiful. the Florbanas. These are mushroom people that is actually a player class. Look at that art. It's fantastic. And even if you think that's stupid and it's not your kind of thing, you got to at least enjoy the art. Drones, which are basically robots with sentience. This is also a player class. So, I mean, the art, is literally fantastic. It's got that new book smell. It looks like it's stitched and glue binding. This book is not coming apart. It is hardback. And the art, it's a simple black and white design, but they go through and tell you how to, they tell you how to put a character together and everything. Oh, that's a nice piece right there. A double header on the page. I'm sorry, my camera doesn't do this art justice, guys. I'm really sorry. I do have the PDF, so I think what I might do is a follow-up video recording my desktop and showing the video. They're also going to be doing a release party. I don't know too much about that, but they're doing a release party. I think they're going to do it over Discord, or they're going to have a Twitch or a video chat or something like that. So not quite sure how that's all going to work. I believe, I'm not hinting and I'm not begging, but I believe I have an invite. If I do, great. If I don't, guys, no worries. Don't worry about me. You got other customers to satisfy. Mr. Mean is completely happy. Here's the weapons. I mean, they're very cool, kind of archaic and fantasy, not steampunk, but arcane punk. I don't know how to describe this. Techno punk, maybe. But just freaking phenomenal art. The art is very, very, extremely cohesive in this book, and very much follows a theme and just works amazing. Oh my God, look at that's the shit of nightmares right there, dude. If you saw that coming at you, you just shit a brick. So let's see. Let's just read off the back here, because like I said, I haven't read the full book. Oh, my corner got dinged in shipping. Bummer. I'm fastidious about my books. I hate any blemishes on them, but that's okay. I've waited so long for this book. I'm happy to have it. Shattered. Sorry for the loud noise. Shattered is a self-contained pen and paper role-playing game. Gather a handful of your friends around the table and realize your favorite imagined heroes in the adventures you've always dreamed of. Contained within this book are a full rule set for players and a guide for game masters, a detailed description of the world of Fenris, its important places and interesting people, complete with gorgeous full-color landscapes, a helpful guide to the 8 playable races, their cultures, and their origins, an experience-based character development system. Create the adventure you've always wanted by purchasing stats, talents, and skills. Unique archetypes, including Arcania, Conviction, and Psi. Manipulate the elements, raise the dead, wield the power of supernatural forces, and pierce the minds of your foes. A complete tutorial for constructing and operating your own unique airship. Take to the skies as a sailor, mercenary, merchant, or pirate. Craft the ultimate enemy and surround it with an army of underlings using your monster creation system. A visually detailed bestiary filled with more than 75 monsters and a guide to creating your own. Shattered contains themes and descriptions that are intended for mature audiences. Player discretion is advised. I like that. I like that hey, this is a game for grown-ups, for adults. If you're going to play this with your kids, you know what you're getting into. They've put it right there. There is a couple booby pictures in here. I believe, if I remember correctly, those may have been taken out. I've been following this in all the drafts, and I don't remember. But there are scenes of war. There's, scenes of combat. So if that kind of stuff disturbs the younger people, then, viewer discretion is advised, as the old saying goes. But I mean, just a wretched. Oh my God, if that isn't an iconic piece of art, look at that. That is cool. So I mean, just there's a place called, I believe it's called the Glass Flats, or the Glass Plains. And I've read some of it. I've read actually quite a bit, but I don't remember. There's a double page of the airship. Oh my God, is that cool or what? I know, I apologize, I'm not doing the art justice here, but that's amazing. Let's see if I can look in the index and find it. It's the glass, let's see here. talents and archetypes, equipment, game mastery, airship crew, creature, airships, character creation, arcana. I was looking at weapons, armor, shields, bionic, biogenics, transportation, essentials, game mastery. I was hoping to find a spot on the world. It might be in here. The Ashlands, maybe? The Glass Forest. There it is, page 40. If I remember correctly, there is an amazing piece of art. Yes. There you go, guys. Look at that. And hopefully it doesn't focus in as well, but oh my God, the Glass Forest. And it's basically an area that we have to assume was blasted by, it was a desert at one time, and it was blasted by probably a nuclear holocaust, and everything just flashed, flash heat turned it into glass. And so it's like walking through razors, literally. And it's one of the areas that you can visit. And there's people there. I mean, all the races. You got some crazy races in this game. And it's nice to see your name in the Kickstarter. I thought that was really nice. So we have humans, the Ellipse, drones, Florvana, Rekindled, Shades, vampires, and Wretched. And yes, they're exactly what they sound like. It's pretty cool. Character creation. I'm definitely going to try to run a game of this and try to get my local players to see if they can play it. But guys, I am so happy this is out. It's been a long time coming. These guys have went through some trials and tribulations, and they've done a great job of giving us a decent product. I'm very excited. Like I said, the book weathered the shipping pretty good. There's a ding on the corner here. That happens. I mean, it is what it is. It doesn't take away, and it's on the back side, so you're really not going to see it. But man, talk about a pretty book, and got some nice weight. The pages are glossy. No ink is coming off. I mean, it's really put together really well. Very cool stuff. A whole chapter on airships, and some cool looking ships, I might add. Do yourself a favor. If you're not sure if this is going to be your genre or whatever, pick it up as a PDF. I'm gonna, like I said, I'll include a link to their website in the doobly-doo. This is another thing that's cool. QR codes, so you can scan them with your phone and join the Discord or their website and get the downloads. The I.N.D.E forums and the I.N.D.E Discord. It's a QR code. Just zip it with your phone and you can join. How cool is that they put that in there? I mean, because we all know every page is valuable in an RPG, so this is pretty solid. Some great GM information in here, just on running the game and running games in general. I did read that section. I like how they approached everything. The writing is pretty concise. I did find some typos in the early drafts, and I submitted them. They had an Excel spreadsheet where you could go in and put that information, which was super cool. Just every step of the way, these guys have had full disclosure. They have told you what the process is and what's going on and what they're doing to correct the things that went wrong. And in this case, these guys just got hosed by their printer in China, sent them just a shitty product. And from my understanding, they reached out to them and they basically blew them off. They said, well, you got your books, piss off. And that's just horrible. And so they had to scramble, come up with some money and get it reprinted, working with a notable printer here in they have a liaison here in America, and then the actual printing was done in China. So these did come across the pond on a container ship, and they got shipped out. So they did a great job. But full disclosure, the way a Kickstarter should be ran, you should know at every step of the process what's happening with your money. And these guys, I mean, they worked really hard to make sure that we as backers knew what was going on. And I mean, I had several conversations with Tex, who's one of the lead designers of this game and one of the owners of the company. And I mean, just telling me, hey, we're going to put out a notice tomorrow saying, this is delayed or this is happening or that or whatever. Just super awesome communication. And I know they want to come back on the channel once I got a copy of the book. So I'm going to try and work with them maybe next weekend or the weekend after. I don't know when their launch party is. But, I mean, this is, like I said, if you're into this, fantasy punk. I don't know how to describe Shattered. It falls into, it's not steampunk, it's not strictly fantasy punk, it's not sci-fi punk. It's just cool punk. I mean, it's never dark enough in this game. It's just never dark enough. You can play a vampire, and it's really cool. The background that they go into, you play a shade, you come back from the dead, and whatever your job was here on Fenris, it's not done, and so you want to come back and you want to get it done. So you come back as a shade. You can play a Forvana, which is basically a mushroom, and you're sentient, and you're a race, and whatever your goals are. And the ellipse, who can kind of, I believe the ellipses are almost computer-like. I don't remember. And then the drones, of course, and the wretched. You saw the picture of the big, huge dude. Those guys are mutated, and ugh. But you can play one of those, and they have a full character creation, and it creates your background, and you can have biogenics, you can have prosthetics, so you can get wings, you can get extra arms. I mean, the weapons just look like something out of an old 1830s Sears catalog, which I really dig. I love the way they did it. Blackwood and Nash Weapon Emporium, 100% lethality guaranteed. Quarterly catalog. So this is, you go to one of the big cities, you find their outlet, and you get it. And it's just neat. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. A kukri, a guitar, a mace, your sword, your warhammer, a war axe, anything. Guns, a halberd, a scythe, a revolver, and everything's got this almost like retro punk, not necessarily steampunk, but like a 1930s kind of feel to it, but yet it's got a cool, like the flamethrower down there. I mean, that just looks wicked, and then I think that's a double-barreled shotgun at the top of the page, and there's your stats for the damage and everything. It's just really well done. I mean, crossbow, nest of bees. Oh my God, I didn't even see this. Number 310 in the Blackwood and Nash Weapons Emporium catalog. Get yours now. When fired, the nest of bees launches 32 crude rocket-propelled arrows in a large area. After firing a nest of bees, restocking the arrows costs half of the normal cost and takes an hour to properly position. So this is a one-shot. Two-handed, grade 1. Damage is 2d6. Range is 30 yards. Magazine is 1. Reload is 1 action. Defects, inaccurate. No kidding. But man, you're throwing out that many arrows, you're going to hit a bunch of people. A shotgun is 2d6 plus 3. So your damage is based on d6s. They do have some dice. I believe you can still buy them off of their website. It's just a specific little set of dice. I'm not sure. I got a set. I did pay for them. They did not send them to me free. This was not free. I paid my own money. I think I backed this at like the $100 level. So if it sounds like I'm shilling for them because I got something free, I did not. I paid for everything. I paid for the dice. They sent them to me. They're really cool dice. I don't know where they are. They're around here somewhere. That's the Conan dice. I think. No, that's my D6. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's... Bear with me here. I'm pretty sure these are the Conan dice. These might be the I.N.D.E dice. I'm not sure. Yeah, those are the Conan dice. The I.N.D.E dice are around here somewhere. I don't know where they are. They might even be in my giant dice box, so I'm not going to dig that out. But just so you guys know, they do have a set of dice. It's pretty cool. I think it was like $14, I think, roughly. And you can order them off their website. And they came with some like cards. Very cool. I didn't feel like it was a bad purchase. And they were nice dice. So you can't beat that. So like I said, I paid for this. I backed it on Kickstarter, I think right at 2 years ago. And just enjoyed it immensely. I enjoyed looking at the PDF and looking at all the amazing art. I'm just not a big reader of PDFs, but I was glad that I had access to it. And a lot of RPG Kickstarters do that. If you back it, you get the you back it at the PDF level minimum, you get the PDF. But if you back it at the book level, you usually get the PDFs as well. So just awesome to see that these guys put out such quality product and that they cared so much about what we, the customers, were getting, that they went out of their way and spent money out of their own. They actually lost money on this Kickstarter, which is horrible because the printing cost is 90% of it. These guys all worked on this game in their spare time. You know, they've been playing it for a couple of years, and they got it all together, and they just wanted to create they thought, wow, this would be a cool game that everybody will love. I know they have some cool plans for the future and for some source books and everything, so definitely going to keep an eye on them. And like I said, if you're into this, I don't know, fantasy punk, sci-fi fantasy punk, sci-fant punk. I don't know what to call it. One of the guys put a note in the bottom and tell me how you guys classify your game. I classify it as fucking cool. It scratches all my itches. I've got crazy races. I've got crazy monsters. I've got a crazy setting, and I've got all kinds of crazy powers that I can use, so I can make bad guys to suit whatever flavor I want. You know, so it's kind of cool. Looking forward to getting this to the table and playing it. Let me know what you guys think. This gets the Mr. Mean seal of approval. This is a definite buy. Again, if you're not into this type of gameplay, and it's cool art, buy it for the coffee table. If I remember correctly, you know, I don't even know what the art. Oh, there's a weird page there. It's got perforated or something. It's weird. I don't know what that's supposed to be. It's like a crease. I don't remember what the mechanic is. I believe it's a D20 mechanic, but man, I'm losing it here. I was hoping to see if it would tell me they go through. There's a nice time frame too about the old world. I just want to know what the dice mechanic is. Usually you can tell that by if you go to the combat section, you know, because that's basically what all these games are all about, which is always a good thing. Let's see here. Dice conflicts and conditions. Page 80. The multi-die system. That's right. They use multiple dice. I knew they use multiple dice, but I didn't know what the core mechanic is. And I believe the core mechanic is you will use a combination of dice to represent your character's actions and to measure success and failure. This system is called the I.N.D.E, the multi-die system. Like the popular D20 system, it uses the sum of the dice and any modifiers to determine the outcome. The I.N.D.E, or the multi-die system, utilizes 4 dice, 4-sided, 6-sided, 8-sided, 10-sided. The sum of a stat and a skill determine the character's rating and the dice rolled. For example, if a character has a strength rank of 2 and a melee skill of 2, they would have a melee rating of 4. Strength 2 plus melee 2 equals melee rating 4, and would roll a 1d10 for any melee check. Note that any time a die roll would be modified by an action, ability, talent, condition, etc., it must be declared prior to any rolls taking place. A rating of 1 provides 1d4 for a player to roll. Each time this rating increases by 1, you will step up the die by 1. Therefore, rating 2 is a d6, rating 3 is a d8, rating 4 is a d10. So you roll a bunch of dice, you're looking for a target number, and boom. Die adds 1d4. Die wrap occurs again at rating 9, 13, 17, and 21, etc. See the MDS table below, which establishes the pattern for the die code progression. So you get, the higher your rating in your skill and or attribute gets, the more, the higher the die code and the more dice you get to roll. So like a die code of 1, a rating of 1, you get a 1d4, but at a rating of 10, you get 2d10 plus a 1d6. So you get to chuck a bunch of dice, which is always fun. And yeah, in rounding, many cases, the penalty will equal half to a popular skill. You always round down to a minimum of a 1, unless otherwise. So you round down in the game, which is awesome. Whenever an opposed roll is made, if one roll results in being twice the opposing roll, it is considered a critical success. So that's how they're handing criticals. If I roll versus you, and you have a 14, and I roll a 38, or a 28, I have criticaled on you, and then we go from there. Man, that's awesome. Very cool mechanic. I like it when you get to roll a bunch of dice. You're not rolling too many dice, but you are rolling a chunk of dice, which always has a nice feel on the table. And so I didn't want to go over the mechanics too much because I'm not an expert. I said I've glanced through the rules, but now that I have the physical book, I am going to curl up with it and I'm going to read. I start my new job here pretty soon, probably in 2 weeks, maybe 3. I have to go through a very extensive background check. I'm working for the government as a contractor, and so they want to make sure I'm not a crook. So I'm looking forward to that, and that's going to give me going to take a huge financial burden off of me. But I'd still love you guys to like and subscribe, and if you can afford it and see it in your heart, to hit up my Patreon. Like I said, there's 3 levels, 5, 10, and 15. The minimum level, $5, you just get access to my videos a little early. At the $10 level, you get to sit in on some of the chats with the developers once I get them on. I've got a couple guys planned coming on. It's just working out logistics. And then at the $15 level, you get put in for drawings for any of those interviews that I do, that I get free product. I'll pass that on to you guys. So like and subscribe, hit up my Patreon. It's awesome. It helps me out. Obviously puts a little food on the table for me, since obviously money's tight for everyone. So if you do my Patreon, I appreciate you very much. And as the new Patreons come on, I'll try to give a shout out to you guys. And like I said, at the various levels, there's different perks, and so hopefully that appeals to you. And if you guys have interesting ideas for other stuff, let me know. I'm always willing. And as always, any constructive criticism, please feel free to post in the notes here or email me at jpolek@gmail.com. If you're a budding game designer or game developer, or you're an established game designer or developer and you want me to review your products, please feel free to send me a copy. You can always reach out to me again at jpolek@gmail.com. I'm easy to find. I have a G+ page, and I have a Facebook page, and I have my Patreon, so you can reach out to me many different ways. I also have a PayPal Pay Me account. So if you don't want to subscribe, but you want to kick down, $2 or whatever, feel free to hit my PayPal and send me a couple bucks. The money I get off of PayPal goes only towards role-playing stuff. So I might download something from the GM's Guild for D&D and do a review of that. That's how I bought one of the books up there on the shelf that I did a review of for the DM's Guild. An ancillary DMG book that one of the guys did, and it was actually really good. Go back in my archive, check the review. So I try to put the money to good use. The Patreon money just goes to help support my family. You guys know how it is. It's tough out there for everybody. We're all scraping and scrounging. So if you do contribute, whether it's just a like and a subscribe or it's monetarily, I appreciate you very much. Thank you. I wouldn't do this without you guys. We're almost at 400 subscribers, which is awesome for a little one-man channel. The video production's not that great. The quality's not that great. I know it. I did buy a better camera, which is pretty decent. I've got a nice blue snowball microphone, which works great when I remember to put it up here. And I've got a piece of software that allows me to do some basic editing, which is pretty cool. And then I have to render the videos and then upload them to YouTube. So anyway, thank you guys so much. Thank everyone at I.N.D.E. I'll put links in the doobly-doo for everything. You guys rocked it out of the park. I appreciate the signing of the inside of the book. That's very cool. Thank you for the full disclosure and running a proper Kickstarter. I can't say it enough. I've backed a number of Kickstarters where I haven't necessarily gotten hosed, but like one of them is Shotgun and Sorcery, Matt Forbeck's opus that he wrote, and they turned it into a D6 game, and now it's been converted over to Numenera. It's like 3-4 years. I still haven't received my book. And it's been one excuse after another, and I get it. I know problems happen, but there wasn't the full disclosure. There wasn't the transparency, and that I'll never buy anything from that company. I just won't. I mean, I'm sorry. Matt Forbeck, I've met him once or twice at conventions. He's a super nice guy. And I love his writing. I have several of his books. I have Brave New World. I have his novels. I have the RPG. He's an awesome guy. He makes great stuff, but I'm not going to support that company because they have just, and whether or not it's their fault or whatever, that's not the point. The point is there wasn't disclosure. There wasn't honesty. And it's not Matt's fault. I don't hold any of this against Matt Forbeck. I hold it against the companies that are behind the Kickstarter and producing this game. I mean, Monty Cook is getting ready to revise Numenera. There's a Kickstarter out there for Numenera 2.0. We still haven't gotten our first book for Shotgun and Sorceries. And I've seen the prototype and the art. It's fantastic. It's awesome. It's going to be a cool game. I'm not a huge fan of the Numenera system, But I ordered the Kickstarter because the art was amazing, and I'll steal from it and use it for other games. I'm a consummate GM. I GM 2 or 3 games a week if I can, and I play in at least 2 games right now. So, I support the hobby as best I can, and when you don't support me, why should I support you? And that's just my opinion, and if you feel differently, feel free to say so in the comments below. But I just think that Shotguns and Sorceries is a disaster, and it's a shame because it's killed that line. I don't think it, even when it does come out, I don't think it'll sell in retail stores because the Kickstarter people are just going to be so... I went so far as I asked for a refund. I never even got a reply back. But I did get, the weekly update when they started doing weekly updates saying, hey, the book's coming, but they totally ignored my request for a refund. And at the time, I was unemployed, and that $100, I backed it at like the $100, $150 mark. That money could go a long way for my family, and they didn't even bother to. So as far as I'm concerned, the game already has a negative review. I don't care how gorgeous the book looks. The project is ugly because of how they've handled it, and that's sad. And I'm probably going to choose to not review it, just because anything I say is going to be negative, and there's no need for that. I'm sure the game will be fine. Numenera is a fine system. I have several of the books up there in the library, and this is not a review for Numenera or Shotguns and Sorceries, but I just want to let you guys know that when you do Kickstarter, it is buyer beware. Look at what they've done before. Look at if they've put out anything. These guys were new. They had never put out anything. They have since changed companies and changed hands and new artists, and it's just a big cluster. And I feel really sorry for Matt, because I'm sure when he goes to conventions and stuff, it's like, hey, we're Shotguns and Sorcery, and that's just embarrassing because he just wrote the book. He didn't design the game mechanics. He just wrote the book and licensed it to those guys for them to, turn it into an RPG, an updated RPG, which is awesome. I'm glad it happened, but not glad at the process and the procedure it's taken us to get there. So anyway, guys, I've rambled on enough. Shattered, indie publications. It's never dark enough. I'll put a link to the website in the doobly-doo. Check this one out. It is a buy from Mr. Mean if you're into this kind of thing. If the art has intrigued you, if nothing else, buy the PDF. It's available on Drive-Thru-RPG. Excuse me. And you won't be disappointed. It's a gorgeous book. If I get it to the table and I get to run a session, I'll do a after play video of it and telling my thoughts and everything on it. So as always, like and subscribe. Join the Patreon or the PayPal. Pay me if you can. And as always, Mr. Mean says, be nice.